Hey guys, it's Courtney with the Kitchen Garden, and I am so glad you're here. So we have reached August, which means the spring and summer garden is transitioning out, and we're beginning to think about the fall garden. I've got some dead and dying plants back here, which is totally normal at the end of summer. Things have dried out or they're no longer producing, and so we're going to talk about what you need to do in order to start moving your garden from the summer into the fall. So let's get started. So, if your plants are starting to look like this, then chances are they're not producing anymore. And it might be time to get them out of your garden space. And maybe you've already cleared some garden space from things that stopped producing earlier in the season, and this is a really great sign that it's time to start transitioning your garden. Some things, like your marigolds and your herbs, I've got some great Thai basil right here and some lemon balm, will continue to grow into the fall, and so you can leave them be, or you can prune them back a little bit to make some more space. But what I want to focus on is what to do with these plants that are dead and dying. This one has a little bit of pest damage on it, I can see, so I'm going to take this plant up entirely and I'm going to dispose of it in the trash can. I don't want to put anything that's got pest damage that could potentially have any kind of pest eggs in my compost bin, so I'm going to throw this away. Same thing with these cucumbers. I noticed at the end of the season that they just weren't producing well. Maybe there's a little bit of disease in them, so I'm going to take all of this up and I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of it. So clearing out all this space is going to give me a chance to see how much room I have to work with to plant those fall greens and goodies in the next month or so. Okay guys, so if you've cleared out all the dead and dying plants from your summer garden, what do you need to do next? You're not going to immediately plant your fall plants. This soil, which is living, there's so many microorganisms living in your soil, has been depleted by whatever you grew in the spring and summer, be it tomatoes or flowers or herbs, whatever. Your soil needs to be replenished. So you're going to take 3 inches of good quality compost or compost soil mix, and you're going to top your beds off with that and really work it into your soil to replenish the nutrients that the last plants used up. You might also consider what you planted in this particular area in the spring and summer and plant something that's not the exact same type of plant. So we don't want to plant nightshades where we already had nightshades. Consider things like a legume that will put some nitrogen into your soil. What I have here are some sweet potatoes, and I planted these about a month ago, and they will continue to grow into November. But I replenished the soil first to give these the best chance that they have to get big and large, perfect for Thanksgiving. Okay guys, so some of your plants will continue to grow into the fall like we mentioned earlier. So different types of basil, my zinnias are still looking great. Sweet potatoes are growing wild in here, kind of choking out some other things. I've got some Hungarian wax peppers still going strong, and I even have summer squash. That's a shock. Okay, so if you want to leave plants in longer, that's totally fine. The other thing that you can consider before just taking it out would be to save seed. So anytime in the fall as we're preparing it, you see some of your herbs blooming, that means that they're going to seed, and it's a great way for you to replenish your seed supply for next year without having to buy more seed. You can simply save your own. So I've got some tutorials on how to save basil seed, and I'll link it below for you guys to check out. Okay, it's also a really great time for you to harvest some basil or whatever herbs might be getting pretty large and you want to pare them back before fall planting, to take it inside and to dry them. Or if it's still pretty hot, you can dry them outside. So just some options for you to clear some space in your garden, but still not waste what you've worked so hard to grow. Okay, what you might want to go ahead and get rid of. Although my squash is still growing, and there's a few baby squash on there, I can also see that I've got some powdery mildew on this particular squash plant. Just probably not getting enough airflow, and I know that its season is coming to an end. So I may want to just go ahead and take it out because it takes up so much space. Same with these sunflowers that I've got growing. I honestly did not intend to grow sunflowers in my raised bed. They just showed up and I just let them grow. And it's been lovely. Brought some amazing varieties of birds to the garden, and that's another story. So, things that are no longer serving you or serving your garden, It is okay to get rid of them or to severely cut them back. Okay, that's your permission. Now let's talk about what you might want to keep growing or what you might want to grow in your fall garden. So you want to think about things like leafy greens. They love the cool season. Spinach, kale, collards, turnip greens, mustard greens, all those classic greens are perfect for the fall garden. Swiss chard as well, beautiful and delicious. Your brassicas, this is your broccoli, your cauliflower, and your cabbage are all perfect contenders for the fall as well. And they do take up a little bit more space, so consider that. Your broccoli and your cauliflower and cabbage will give you pretty much one eat off of those things with something like romaine. You can cut the leaves off and keep eating it, and the plant will just keep producing, so consider that in your planting. And then don't forget about fall root vegetables. If you go ahead and plant some carrots now to get a fall crop in, radishes as well, and maybe even some beets. So consider that when you're planting your fall garden. You can check out a few of my posts, I'll link them below, about what's low maintenance in the fall, and that's a lot. Because in the fall we've got lower temperatures, that means less watering. You've got fewer bugs, that means you don't get bit as much outside. It also means that your plants don't have as many pests, and it's just cooler for you. You don't have to wait until early morning or late at night to garden. You can garden all day long because the temperatures are cooler. So these are just some great helps on planning your fall garden. Hope you guys enjoy.